Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Patrick Dix coming back at you with another video related to technology and how not to make yourself useless. First of all, I want you to subscribe to my channel, Dr. Patrick Dix. Next, find me on LinkedIn at Dr. Patrick Dix. You can also find me on Instagram. I was about to forget it, at King of Automation, and also my website, the Dix Consulting Group. I want to talk to everybody about not being useless in the fourth industrial revolution. That's what we're currently living in right now. And the thing is, technology is going to eliminate a lot of jobs. And when I say the word useless, a lot of people take it and say, how can you call people useless? I want you to think about, we have a lot of useless people. And one of the things is, when I say people are useless, they're not helping move society forward. You have to be in an occupation, blue collar or white collar, that is actually taking society forward. When you're useless, you're not doing either. And it's hard for people to swallow that. It's hard for people to say, hey, am I useless? I'm going to use myself for an example. Before I became educated and before I was actually teaching and doing other things, I was useless. I was providing no value to society, but I looked upon myself, when I graduated high school and said, I want to do something with my life. I want to contribute. I want to make things better. I want to make it to where I can give value and people can look up to me as a role model. I took that upon myself and said, I want to do something important. I want people to know about my family. I want people to know about my journey to get to where I'm at. And I don't want to be a part of the useless class. One of the things I try to get people to see is look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I useless? Do I provide value with my family? Do I give value to them? Do I allow them to make themselves better? Can they come to me for answers? Can I help make them better? One of the great things about Michael Jordan was when he stepped on the court, he made everybody else raise their level. He made everybody else better. And it takes a team as the Bulls, and you have your other teams like the Warriors, the Lakers, etc., to win a championship. But when somebody as powerful as Michael Jordan stepped on the floor, he made everybody else better. I want you to ask yourself, are you doing that? Are you making other people better? That's somebody that is useful. Somebody useless is just going through life, not doing anything. They are just complaining about, it's this person's fault, having no accountability. One of the things you have to remember is technology will make you accountable in the world we're living in. They are eliminating jobs at a fast pace, and it's going to get faster, from self-checkout aisles to autonomous vehicles to the chat GPT. I always trip up saying that. The chat GPT stuff that's coming out. All of that stuff is going to make processes faster and make things more efficient, but it's going to add on to more useless people we have in society. Again, I say the word useless is strong to use, but I'm very real with people. The only way we're going to see our way out of this kind of stuff is to be honest with people. There are animals that are useless. There are people that are useless. There are processes that are useless. In a company, they call those obsolete. Remember when they had Windows 95, they had Windows XP, they had Windows 7, they had Windows 8, Mac when it first came out back in the 80s. And then when they fired Steve Jobs in the middle 2000s, those things were useless. The iPod is useless now because the iPhone does everything. Google will have their own devices too. And many of their devices are useless. Many of those devices were useless. And now they have useful things. You will see this with cars, technology. I remember being little, and anyone that's worked on cars, they came out with fuel injection, I think in the 80s, 70s, or 80s, electronic fuel injection. Carburetors are useless, but people still use them on vehicles. They're very inefficient. And if you don't get the air to fuel mixture ratio correct, you're wasting gas. And with me working on cars my whole life, I could ride by, or I can approach somebody's vehicle and you'll smell that the rich smell of the fuel and the air mixture incorrect. So what do? They let computers control that with mass airflow sensors on the air filter. And, you know, I won't get so technical with that, but that is a way that carburetors became useless. We have to remember with ourselves, I want to be useful. I want to be useful to people. You want to be useful to people. To not be useless, you have to give value to society. I've said in previous videos, you have to have a business that is moving society forward. You have to have a process that is moving society forward. You have to provide value. This is regardless of your race, your gender, social economic class, or wherever you were born at. Remember, you must give society value for it to use you. Think about a bicycle. Think about a car. If a bicycle was not useful, a kid doesn't want to ride it to get in shape or to get get to a further distance. With me being an adult, if a car is useless, you don't drive it. You leave it parked in the parked on the carport or wherever, or the area wherever you live at. Just think about that. Think about the old Nintendos that are useless, the 8-bit consoles like Super Nintendo. We have Xbox Series X's now. We have PlayStation 5s that are useful because they're providing 4K, 60 frames per second graphics. The processors are strong. I've listed many examples of how things are useless and things are useful. I'm going to end this video and ask yourself, are you providing society with useful talent and ability? Again, my name is Dr. Patrick Dix. Reach out to me on LinkedIn at Dr. Patrick Dix, on Instagram at King of Automation, on my website, the Dix Consulting Group. And lastly, reach out to me on calendly.com/Dr. Dix for consultations. I know sometimes I do doom and gloom, but I'm also here to help people overcome many of the obstacles that we are going to run into. Again, this is Dr. Patrick Dix, and I will see you again for the next video. Have a great one.